What is up, everybody? It is I, Ronin, and today we are learning how to play some pure Thunder Dragons. As I'm sure you all know, Danger, Thunder, Orcus, whatever, kinda got a little bit hit recently, Guard Dragon stuff, and, yeah, someone recommended I try some pure Thunder Dragons, and I did do, like, a video on it when they initially came out, and it wasn't a bad deck, so I was definitely not used to playing it in, but, it turns out this deck's still a little bit spicy, still a little bit cool. But we're gonna go over what makes it cool in the deck profile here. So let's go ahead and get right into it. For our monster lineup, we have one side frame driver, free fun free Thunder Dragon duo. Uh, Also, I just want to make this clear. While I will be using the TCG names, uh, I very much do prefer the OCG names. Just want to make that known right off the bat. But let's keep going. Free Thunder Dragon Roar, free Thunder Dragon Hawk, free Thunder Dragon Dark, one Black Dragon Collapse Serpent, one White Dragon Wyver Burster, free Solar Batterymen or Batterymen Solar, and free Psyframe Gear Gamma, as well as free Thunder Dragon Matrix. First up, hand traps. Gamma is a good hand trap. This deck pretty easily makes link 2s. We can make a Lambda with the greatest of ease. That's why they're there for the purpose of hand traps. We only need to run one driver because Avian shuffles cards back. And that's going to be into that. And also, the dragons, they get effects when they're banished. Collapse Serpent and Wyver Burster are just good ways to put monsters on the field. Okay, that's them. That's them gone over. Now let's go over some of the real deal cards. So our Thunder Dragon lineup consists of Dragon Duo, Roar, Dragon Hawk, Dark, and I guess this is basically a Thunder Dragon. But we'll start with this Battery Man because he is a good starter card. So Batteryman Solar, when he is normal or special summon, lets you send a Thunder monster from your deck to the graveyard. And if a Thunder monster is normal or special while it's on the field, you can special summon a Batteryman token, which is a Thunder Light level 1 with no attack and defense. He also has a effect with Batteryman, but we're not really going to go over that because we don't need to. We don't need to because we don't run other Batterymen. But yeah, he's a great way to set up the graveyard. This deck kind of lives and dies by graveyard setup. And yeah, he's a great starter card. You can send a light or dark attribute Thunder Dragon to get fuel for the Wyver Burster or the Collapse Serpent, which is pretty good. Recover things to give, your Dragon Roar or your Dragon Hawk a target, and even set up a little bit for Dragon Duo. We should probably go over now, actually. So he's the sort of like main deck boss monster for the archetype. It can't be normal summon or set. It has to be special summon from the hand. No chaos style, banish a light and a dark. And once per turn, if a monster effect is activated in the hand, it'll gain 300 till the end of the turn. And when it destroys an opponent's monster by battle, it lets you banish a card from your graveyard to add a Thunder monster from your deck to your hand. And once per turn, during the opponent's end phase, it lets you target one of your banished cards, place it on the top or bottom of your deck. It's a big number. It lets you recover. It lets you banish things for effects. Uh, it lets you search. It's a genuinely super good card. Normally, I wouldn't be running something like this at free, though. But because I needed more lure targets, here we go. But no, honestly, it's a surprisingly helpful card to have in your deck. I was not expecting it to be as good as it was. I thought I was gonna cut it down to 1, but I found that I just really liked having it. But yeah, so that's him. Now let's go over the rest of our Thunder Dragon lineup. So now we have the Thunder Dragon Roar. Lets you discard it to add a a banished or in the graveyard Thunder Dragon card back to your hand, except for itself. And when it's banished or sent from the field to the graveyard, they all have some effect like that, by the way, when they're banished or sent from the field to the graveyard. I'll just refer to that as their float effect from now on. And Roar's float effect lets you special summon a Thunder Dragon monster from your deck in defense position, but it will return to the hand during the end phase. It is a hard once per turn. So it's a good way to get field presence going turn 1. If you're fairly confident you'll be able to survive turn against your opponent, it's a surprisingly good way to go ahead and get a Dragon Hawk or a Dragon Matrix if you need it. The fact that it searches any Thunder is also super helpful, but yeah, that's basically, or any Thunder Dragon, but still useful. And yeah, it's basically Roar. He's great field presence. He's a decently sized body if we need it, and he's dark attribute, so allure targets. Yay. Now we move on to Thunder Dragonhawk. You can discard it to special summon a Thunder Dragon monster that's banished from the graveyard except itself. And its float effect lets you shuffle any number of cards from your hand into the deck, then draw the same number of cards as a hard once per turn. So, again, kind of why I'm fine with only running one driver, just because you can shuffle it back if you need to. But no, it's a good card. It's a kind of a necessary extender for the deck. So yeah, I mean it's super searchable, so it's great. Now we have Thunder Dragon Dark. As a quick effect, it discards itself to add another Thunder Dragon Dark from your deck to your hand, and its float effect lets you add a Thunder Dragon card from your deck to your hand, except itself, also a hard once per turn. Uh, So the first effect might seem a little bit strange, but I sort of discovered it's actually just to get free fuel for your Colossus. But yeah, no, that's actually surprisingly helpful. It's graveyard setup. It lets you sort of maintain advantage in deck fen. It fuels your Colossuses for free. Yeah, it's just really good, and the Rhoda effect is also super nice. It'll potentially allowing you to go +2 off of Allure of Darkness, so yeah, it's decent. And now we have Thunder Dragon Matrix. As a quick effect, it can discard itself to target a Thunder Dragon to target a Thunder monster you control. Well, I guess it's a Thunder Dragon in our case. And it gains 500 attack, and if its float effect lets you add another copy of itself from your deck to your hand as a hard once per turn. The attack boosting is decent. It's mostly there for the discard effect, the fact that you can just discard it for free. Again, it serves a very similar purpose to Thunder Dragon Dark. But yeah, no, it's a good card. The fact that it floats into itself is pretty great. Yeah, no, it's good. Run it free because it's a good boy. Now we move on to our spell traps, which we have free Allure of Darkness, free Instant Fusion, free Foolish Burial Goods, 1 Gold Sarcophagus, 1 Foolish Burial, 2 Thunder Dragon Fusion, and we'll go over the traps later in a second. I guess we can go over them now. We don't have that many. 2 Breakthrough Skill, and 1 Thunder Dragon Discharge. So the purpose of Allure of Darkness should be obvious. All of our dark monsters except for Duo have banish effects. So, we can get those to go off while drawing cards. That doesn't require much explanation. The instant fusion is for this Kaminari attack. It's another Thunder monster that you get on the field for free. Uh, Battery Man Solar plus instant fusion is basically a full Thunder Dragon board. So, like, that's really good. And yeah, it's just a really good extender to have. Foolish Burial Goods is actually to send the Thunder Dragon Fusion or the Breakthrough skill, but we'll go over those in a second here. Gold Sark, banish something from deck. Like, why wouldn't you want that in this deck? That's just nuts. Rhoda if you want. Special summon something from the deck if you feel like it. Unbrick yourself if you feel so inclined to do so. Like there's no reason not to run this. Foolish Burial. Again, this deck lives and dies by graveyard setup. So you want as much of that as possible. Thunder Dragon Fusion. It's the Thunder Dragon Fusion spell, obviously. and it lets you fusion a Thunder Fusion monster from your extra deck by shuffling the materials into the deck from your field, graveyard, or face-up banished cards. And during your main phase, except the turn this was sent to the graveyard, you can banish it to add a Thunder monster from your deck to your hand, and each effect is a hard once per turn. So, yeah, it's not bad. It's really good recovery. Fusion summoning is always fun. If you have this after you have gone to a Link 2 and a Colossus, you're basically guaranteed a Titan. So that's really good. And the search effect, super nice. This deck doesn't get OTK'd super easily, so it's yeah, it's solid stuff. And now for the trap cards, which I told you, Breakthrough Skill. Uh, its effect on field. Upon activation, lets you target one face of effect monster your opponent controls, and its effects negated until the end of the turn. And during your turn, except the turn that this was sent to the graveyard, you can banish it from your graveyard to just reuse this effect again. Honestly, I like it. It's a really good alternate target for Foolish Burial Goods. Uh, Targeted negation. You could make the argument for infinite impermanence for sure, but I kind of like that it also has the graveyard effect, honestly. So I really do prefer this. It's a cool budget option, and honestly, there's a lot of decks in today's meta, in just sort of rogue categories that would actually struggle with something like this going on. And now we have what I believe is the most underrated Thunder Dragon card, Thunder Dragon Discharge. So it's a continuous trap, and it does a few helpful things. The first thing it does is just as a continuous effect. The activation of your Thunder monster's effects cannot be negated. That is already great. And once per turn, if a Thunder Dragon monsters is normal or special, you can target a spell trap on the field, then banish a Thunder monster from your deck, and then pop that spell trap. Yeah, this is a super underrated Thunder Dragon card. Like, it's actually nuts. It's spell trap removal. It prevents your effects from being negated, so it's super nice protection. Uh, and it banishes stuff from deck. Now it's underrated, but I only run it at one because it is searchable, and not all decks are super spell trap heavy. Of course, that has changed lately, so I would definitely recommend running this at least at one because it is actually like really good. Now, for the extra deck though, first we have a very slight Nightmare package. We have the Cerberus and the Phoenix, only those two this time. We have two Summer Summoner. That's a Link to Thunder, requires two Thunder monsters, and once per turn during your opponent's turn. As a quick effect, you can discard a card, then target a Thunder monster in your grave, except the Link, and special summon it to a zone this points to. The obvious spicy play with this is to go into this with Batteryman Solar, sending the Thunderclap Skywolf, and then Raigeki during your opponent's turn. But it's a pretty good Thunder Dragon card just because you can also tribute it to make a Colossus. So yeah, it's pretty good. We have Lambda, which we kind of went over earlier. It requires two monsters except tokens. You can activate Cyframe monster hand traps from your hand without a open field. And it also has another effect that if a psychic monster you control is banished face up while you control it, except during the damage step, you can during the end phase of that turn, add a Cyframe card from your deck to your hand as a hard once per turn. So, it was pretty good. I like going into it as the Link 2. I know the sort of standard play is like 2 Colossus and Titan, but I kind of like Colossus, Titan, Lambda with a Cyframe to back it all up. I don't know. I just think it's honestly, I just think it's really nice. Now we already went over Kaminari Attack. We are also running Thunder Dragon Thunder stormech. Yeah, this card's actually, I'll say it's not the best Thunder Dragon card, but it is a fun Thunder Dragon card. So it requires two or more Thunder monsters, which is not hard at all to do with this deck. And during your main phase, if you control this Link summoned card, It lets you target one of your Thunder Dragon monsters as banisher in the graveyard, and then apply its discard effect. And then you place that monster on the top or bottom of your deck. It's a hard once per turn, and if a Thunder monsters you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish free cards from your graveyard instead. So, honestly, not as bad as you think. Like, it's a decent effect. The resource recovery is pretty alright. It basically has all the really good Thunder Dragon effects, just like slightly watered down and on a big body. The only big downside of this card is that it has to have been Link Summoned. And while it doesn't really come up, it is kind of fun to just have one just ready to go if you need it. But yeah, no, I like having this card just for fun, but you definitely do not have to run it. Now we have the two big boys, Colossus and Titan. So Colossus, I'm going to assume you likely already know what Colossus does, but just in case you don't, so Colossus is a fusion monster, requires a Thunder Dragon and a Thunder monster, and it must either be fusion summoned with that, or special summoned during the turn a Thunder monster's effect was activated in the hand by tributing a Thunder effect non-fusion monster, in which case you not use Poly. That's why I stated earlier, kind of with the Thunder Dragon Dark, that effect is mostly there to fuel the Colossus's effect. So you just have a free way to discard, effectively. And while it's on the field, cards cannot be added from the main deck to your opponent's hand except by drawing. And if it would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish one Thunder monster from your graveyard instead. So stop searching. Super hard to destroy. Big body. You can just pop it onto the field for free, effectively. Yeah, Colossus is nuts. I don't know what else to say. It's a nutty card in a nutty deck. Like it just is. But yeah, I mean it's unfortunate, but non-destruction removal really does mess with it. So, Kaiju, Storming Mirror Force, which I actually ran into several times while testing this. But yeah, it's rough to deal with, but you can definitely deal with it, I think. And now that we move on to Titan, whose Fusion Summon requires free Thunder Dragon monsters, and it must either be Fusion Summoned or Special Summoned by banishing a Thunder monster from your hand and one Thunder Fusion you control except itself, in which case you do not use Poly. And when a Thunder monster's effect is activated in the hand, even during the damage step, keep that in mind. As a quick effect, you can destroy one card on the field, non-targeting, and if it would be destroyed by card effect, you can banish two cards from your graveyard instead. So, obviously, very good disruption. Non-targeting destruction is pretty decent. Its summoning condition, not bad at all, actually. Yeah, it's just add on the fact that it's a really big body. It's just, yeah, no, it's super solid. Not even gonna lie. That's the main deck, pretty much. Now for the side deck. So first, the obvious things. We have free Thunder King, the Lightning Strike Kaiju. It's a Thunder monster, so it synergizes-ish with the deck, so why not, right? We have two Psyframe Gear Epsilon and two Beta, in case we are ever in a battle-heavy matchup, like, say, Math Mech, I guess. Then the Epsilon, if we're ever in a super trap heavy matchup, because it gets rid of traps and stuff, so that's really nice. Free Twin Twister, because, spell trap removal is nice. Free Burial from a different dimension, in case we ever just really need to recover. And two more Thunder Dragon Discharge, because in case it's you never know. It could be a super negate spell trap heavy matchup, and if that happens, well, yeah, you're sad. But you know what? Your opponent can't negate your stuff, and you can pop their spell traps, so that's really good. But yeah, so that's pretty much the whole deck. If you're new here, we go over a few replays. I show what went right, what went wrong, what I like, what I think I could have done better, stuff along those lines. But yeah. All that being said, I'll see you guys in the first replay. Alright, everyone, welcome to the first replay with I'm Gay. learning new things about myself every day, I suppose. And we are ACDC, because, that song, Thunder Chief. I think that was ACDC. Probably wrong, though, because I don't actually listen to ACDC much. So, I'm sure you guys in the comments will let me know if Dirty Deeds and the Thunder Chief was ACDC or not. But we are actually gonna go first here, and we opened up pretty well, playing against the Evil Eye player. Evil Eye's Stun, it appears. And this is just kind of to show the power that cards like Colossus can actually have, and how much some decks just absolutely struggle against it. So yeah, gonna be using the Dark effect to get the Dark. We had the Wyver Burster in hand, so we can banish Dark for that. Then we're going to normal summon the Roar, which actually kind of makes sense because this way we will be able to get Lambda on the field and fulfill the conditions for Thunder Dragon Fusion in the graveyard, so it works out pretty well actually. And yeah, we get the Collapsed Serpent, which we're now going to summon. Then we make the Lambda. Roar is going to get us a monster on field, and because we activated a monster effect in hand this turn, we're able to get our Colossus on board. Then we activate the Thunder Dragon Fusion to make a Thunder Dragon Titan. And with that, we pass turn, and this is pretty good. So we have Mistake, so we cannot search. We have a Disruption in the form of Thunder Dragon Lord and Thunder Dragon Dark. And because the land is here, our Gamma is live. So this is a decent-ish board, I would say, actually. Also, the fact that we do have well, we don't actually have protection for Colossus, unfortunately. But worst comes to worst, we can put protection in the graveyard, so it all works out. But yeah, our opponent is going to summon the Serzel, set a couple pass because he cannot do searches, unfortunately for him. So we are going to go ahead and use the Thunder Dragon Dark to use the Titan effect during the end phase to pop that back row because I was quite worried about it. Evil Eye usually plays a lot of stun, so I was just being cautious there. But yeah, so we go ahead and did a little bit of deck thinning, which is fine. So we use the Thunder Dragon Fusion to get the Thunder Dragon Hawk. Then we use Hawk to get back the Darkness in our graveyard, as well as using the Titan to go ahead and pop the Scythe. The Dark is back now. He's going to try to use the Scythe effect. We're going to go ahead and negate it with Gamma. Summon them in attack position. Then battle phase, we just, yeah, battle phase for game. And there we go. So yeah, that was the game. Again, that was just sort of to show off the sort of ideal board that this particular build of the deck can create. I think this is a pretty decent thing. And just sort of how cards like Colossus can really just shut down these slower rogue tier decks. Because Evil Eye can actually be kind of annoying to deal with. But just the power of Colossus on its own is pretty much insane. But yeah, so that was the first replay. Now we're going into the second replay, and we're just gonna sort of show the deck's sort of its resilience and its ability to play through disruptions. And yeah, I think it's gonna be good. I'll see you guys there. Alright, on the second replay with Player, who is using Paleo Frog, so he's set in 5. You just know he is. And this is gonna show the deck's ability to play through things decently well. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get right started. Our opponent is unfortunately going first, so he sets 4, activates the Demise, sets the Storming Mirror Force, which actually messes with us quite a bit, the Dupe Frog as well, and the Lincolnia is going to the graveyard. I should play Pure Paleo sometime, that might be fun. But yeah, so this is Paleo Frog, so we're going to go ahead and get the Dark into the graveyard for the effect. And now we're into the main phase. We summon the Battery Man, send the Dragon Matrix, use the Instant Fusion to get the Kaminari attack. We're going to be able to get our Battery token because of our, we summoned a Thunder Monster. Unfortunately, he does flip that face down, which would be the killer for a lot of decks. However, fusion monsters, you can use material that's face down for them. so we're just going to go ahead and banish this as well as the Thunder Dragon Dark in order to summon the Titan. And then we're going to make some Summer Summoner. And then we're going to make a Colossus, then activate the Thunder Dragon Fusion. Go ahead and make the Thunder Dragon Titan. Move into the battle phase. Then we get Storming. So Storming Mirror Force, a big ouchie for this deck. I'm not even going to lie to you. But yeah, so he's going to make a Toad attack. Yeah. So he's going to go and do that. We're going to go ahead and negate. He's going to send those to the graveyard. Then we're going to negate that. Of course, we don't get the first negate, which is unfortunate. Yeah, so we go ahead and get the Battery Man into hand. We use the Thunder Dragon, we use the Dragon Roar, sorry, to make another Colossus. Roar is going to go ahead and get us the Discharge, because, you know, spell traps are an issue. Then he uses the Dynamiscus, goes ahead and gets the Paleo back out, banishes it. We're going to go ahead and summon the Battery Man. Battery Man sends the Roar. Then we're making yet another Colossus and going to the battle phase. However, he is going to Lost Wind, which is unfortunate for us. But we do have the Discharge set, so not in the worst spot ever. Oh shoot, oh wait, no, I would have had to attack the Dupe Frog. That's why I did not go over the, Leoncolia. Yeah, I would have had to attack Dupe Frog, so. No, it makes sense. Okay, I forgot how Dupe Frog for a second there. I thought, oh, did I mess this up, like, super bad? But no, I didn't. Dupe Frog is just rocking those, I believe it was 2014 strats. So Swap Frog comes down. Obviously, we're negating that Swap Frog. We don't like Swap Frog. He's not our friend, and he shouldn't be yours. So yeah, you know, we go ahead and Gamma it. No Swap Frog for him. He does have the Ronin Toad, unfortunately, though, so he makes the Starboy. Goes ahead and makes Toad. Just go battles and stuff. So we're hurting a little bit. No field. He makes a Dupe Frog. We just have an instant fusion. That's all we have, and no way to summon to trigger our discharge. So yeah, he's just going to attack us for game, pretty much. Yeah, he's made some plays, popped the last back row, and that's game. So, again, the deck did lose here, but you know, there was a lot of disruptions that got played through pretty well. You know, we managed to get to, well, at least like very close to our ideal board like twice, so that's good. And yeah, honestly, I still, even though it was a loss, and the life points say very differently, I do believe it was a fairly impressive game on our end. But now we're gonna, in the last replay, we're gonna see the deck not doing so hot, and you're gonna see why it doesn't do so hot. So yeah, I'll see you guys there. Okay, on the final replay with Joffrekov. And yeah, he's playing Thunder Dragons. We opted to go second this time. And as you can see, he is not opened super well for a Thunder Dragon player. I mean, like, he can still do some stuff, but it's just not the best stuff, I guess. But yeah, so he is gonna go first here, and he's just gonna pass. Okay, so he could have discarded the he could have discarded Cyber Dragon, get a Galaxy Soldier, search a Galaxy Soldier. No, that wouldn't have led anywhere except for just having a Galaxy Soldier on the field. So that's fair enough. Yeah, and as you can see, we haven't opened the best ever, but with Graveyard setup, we're good. And we have a Solar Battery Man here. So we're in a normal summon a Battery Man Solar, try to use his effect. He uses Ash Blossom. And that's all we can do, because this deck lives and dies by the graveyard. If you do not have a graveyard, if you don't have a banish zone, then you are just up a creek, my friend. But yeah, so we're able to attack for a little bit of damage. Not much else we can do in this situation, unfortunately. And now he is going to do what Cyber Dragons do best, and he is going to pop off. So, you know, he's using the classic Machine Dupe combo, Platinum Gadget, of course, Soldier effects with Hurts. To get a double search, making the Nova. Nova gets him another Cyber Dragon, go into an Infinity to slurp up our battery man, then overload fusion into the Rampage. Rampage can attack twice, I believe, and he's just gonna, there are 3 times, and he's just gonna do that for game. So, yeah, as you can see, this hand could have been amazing with graveyard setup. No, the play would have been to summon the battery man, send Dragon Dark, banish Dragon Dark for Wyver Burster. Dragon Dark, search. I guess Thunder Dragon Fusion. Then we go into the Lambda, searching out a Collapsed Serpent. Then from there, we'd be able to use Thunder Dragonhawk to revive one of our Thunder Dragons, make Colossus, Thunder Dragon Fusion into the Titan. We would also have a Collapsed Serpent to go for more damage. Yeah, like this would have been really good. But we got hand trapped once. And we didn't have a graveyard. So yeah, that's what happens to this deck when you don't have, setup. But yeah, so that was all the replays that I think I want to show. And yeah, so I thought this deck was, I mean, I would say it was, for the most part, it's as powerful as it was before. I really don't know how else to describe it. It's just it still works well. Uh, it still makes some fairly impressive boards. You have multiple ways that you can go about it. You can go first because of its lockdown and disruption. It can go second because big numbers. Like, it's just it is still just a very, very solid deck, I think. And previously when they were first released, my problem was like you could not really search Dragonhawk, the necessary extender for most of your plays, but you can now. You can. It's a lot easier. It's, yeah, if you want a good deck, I'd say that this archetype is it. But yeah, no, let me know what you guys think. Any ways I could have made this deck better, anything I did well, not well, let me know in the comments. And all that being said, like if you liked, comment if you had something to say, and subscribe if you want some more. This has been Ronin, signing off.